Father, we thank you for gathering us all today in this important endeavor. We ask that you bestow your guidance and blessing upon each attendee. May we honor one another by keeping an open mind. May we voice our truth and listen with an open heart. Bless everyone present today, that each may be able to share his or her contributions and gifts. Grant good health and safety to loved ones left outside this room, and bestow peace and goodwill to all of us. We ask for your wisdom and grace to use our talents for the betterment of others. May the various activities related to this day be a success through your intervention. With gratitude, we offer this prayer in your name. Amen.
Please remain standing and let us sing the Philippine National Anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Thank you very much. You may now be seated. Shooting guard number 77, Kobe Ambrosio. Small forward number 1, Patrick Zoilo. And power forward number 19, Andre Vega. Head coach for Smash Basketball, Richmond Boleche. And now the starters for the Adamson Soaring Falcons. At center, number 5, Precious Jonah. Point guard number 2, Ray Allen Torres. Shooting guard number 25, Kenji Kanyete. Small forward number 33, John Ray Abayan. And power forward number 9, Alan Perez. Coaching the Soaring Falcons is Will Magbuhos. Our officials for this first game are Crew Chief Gomer Obina, Umpire 1 Sairup Ungad, and Umpire 2 Irvin Calzada. This game is under the supervision of our Commissioner Joel Ngo.
Live from the Met Park Sports Center in the heart of Pasay City, we welcome you to the National Developmental Sports League Basketball Series. And for our first game, it'll be between a known basketball program in the collegiate scene, the Adamson Soaring Falcons, going up against a team that wants to introduce themselves in good fashion, Smash Basketball. And this is in the 25 and under division. The name is Cholo Pangilinan. A pleasure to cover this game alongside the Bill Velasco.
Thanks, Cholo. And this is going to be very interesting because you have a technically disciplined and much taller Adamson squad versus a club team. So we have to see what Smash can come up with.
But do take note that most of the players of Adamson are from their Team B. Only 3 players playing from their Team A. Nevertheless, definitely when you say Adamson, you know you're in for a fight.
Oh yeah, this is a legitimate Final Four UAAP team.
And right now, we're seeing Ray Allen Torres bring down the basketball. One of the more promising talents for Adamson. Let's see if he can be able to lead this Team B squad. And he is from Team A, by the way. Let's see what Adamson has in mind for the first possession of the game. This time it's Cañete.
Nice little Pinoy step there, but he misses the basket.
This time it's Smash Basketball, a chance to get the first bucket of the game. Vega, no good. Great defense coming from Jonah. Second time's not the charm for Smash Basketball.
Of course, Jonah is the import or the foreign player, which is allowed. You know, really get on the scoreboard if he makes any of these free throws. And later on, we have to check with our technical committee because it's another thing that can help them.
Indeed, again, the height disparity is very evident. Meanwhile, Zoilo sends it way out. Let's see what they have in mind. Gonzalez provides the pick outside to Flores.
Adamson's been defending the pick and roll pretty well.
Alan Perez getting a block on that one.
Clock's winding down.
Another greatly defended possession.
You can see the sheer size advantage, especially when they challenge the penetration. No layups so far.
But in terms of offense, Adamson will have to find a way.
Yes.
As Rayalin Torres brings it down. Perez.
Also, we have to consider how long Smash can sustain this intense game that they're playing.
Well, they do have more players than Adamson. So let's see how they capitalize on that fact. As Jonah is inside, defended by Gonzalez. Shot clock at 1. He puts one up, but that's way short.
And look at this, the Falcons are still standing because they're following this new tradition of waiting until your team actually scores before sitting down.
Beautiful hesitation move coming from Rafael Flores.
Actually took it off the wrong foot.
Meanwhile, it's a 3-0 start for Smash Basketball. Adamson, no need to panic for them, but let's see if they can finally make a bucket. Cañete fades away from the elbow. Money.
Finally. And the team breathes a sigh of relief. Now they can sit down.
Indeed. Kenji Cañete, by the way, another player of Team A. Only 3 players in Adamson belonging to their primary team.
Yeah, the Cañete name is actually well known in sports in Cebu, but it's more for arnis and combat sports than basketball.
Make it 3-2 as Kobe Demisana will enter the game in exchange of Jonah. So possession will stay with Smash Basketball as they have a 1-point lead. Shot clock is at 14 seconds. So far, 4 minutes have gone by in our first period.
Very good substitution here for Adamson. You add more size, and as a local, he's probably been with the system longer.
Gonzalez, no good.
I think the problem is the players of Smash are getting to the hole, but they're getting intimidated by the shot blockers. You should just keep attacking the basket.
But this time, they'll get an open lane as Ambrosio with a grim grazer.
Still no reason for alarm if you're Adamson, but you got to get your offense working.
Definitely, the Adamson Falcons staying composed. But that time, still no bucket for them. They only have one so far in this game. But that's going to be a turnover coming from Smash Basketball, so another chance for Adamson.
5-2, almost midway through the first quarter.
One team foul on the side of Adamson as they'll have possession. Run zone will trigger the inbound. Demisana hands it off to Kate again. Finally, another bucket for Adamson, courtesy of Kobe Demisana. Still 5-4. Smash Basketball retaining that 1-point lead as Rafael Flores is third bucket of the game.
Well, he's got to help his teammates with their confidence and show that it can be done. You can break through the defense.
Well, he is a 24-year-old guard. Definitely has some experience. This time, Cañete fades away. Rolls out of the rim. The putback is still no go for Adamson.
What I like about Smash is that they really put 2 to 3 players on the rebound. No? They're not allowing offensive boards for Adamson, and so far it's really been working for them.
Safe to say they did their homework.
Oh, yes.
And they know who they're up against. As we have substitution right here for Adamson.
And also Garcia coming in for Smash.
Meanwhile,
Trouble in the backcourt.
Smash having a hard time. But that's no turnover. Sahili asking for a replay.
I think the refs correct the call.
So indeed, it'll be a turnover. Adamson, great defensive effort that time.
And Smash only had 1 second left to cross the timeline as well.
Sahili sends it out. That's way off. 7-4. Smash Basketball with a 3-point lead. Flores manning the point guard role. Inside, Gonzalez, nowhere to go, will fade away. That is short.
You know, that step back one-legged Dirk Nowitzki jumper really takes a lot of practice. You can't, and if you don't do that in practice, you shouldn't do it in a game.
But if it does go in, it's going to be deadly. Smash Basketball looking to reset. Flores. Double screen provided for him. Flores changing gears, finding Gonzalez inside, but he gets blocked by Perez.
3-on-1 on the defensive end. And it's funny, Smash is showing better chemistry than Adamson at this point. They're finding the open person, even inside the paint.
And again, safe to say, Smash Basketball definitely did their homework. They know that they're up against a known program in the Adamson Soaring Falcons. And again, even though it's Team B, 3 of their players are Team A, so definitely you're not safe. As this time, Smash Basketball with the possession. Zoilo, no good. Greatly defended that time. Torres running the race. In transition, will lose it.
I love the intensity of Smash. They're really racing up and down, you know, expending a lot of energy.
3 ball is no good. Coming from Garcia, but it's still with Smash. Outside again, Garcia up top. Attacks Kobe, the bump, the step through.
I thought that was an offensive foul. He stuck out his elbow there.
Still couldn't make the bucket nevertheless. To the other side, Zahili looking for a teammate, Perez. Still with him, shot clock at 10. Demisana inside to Zahili. Mismatch alert, but sends it outside for 3. Finally, the first 3 bomb of the game.
Uh-oh. I think now Smash has to start worrying, and it's going to affect how they pack the paint on defense.
Zipagan unable to answer back. Ball on the floor in the paint. But now Adamson getting a hold of it.
Last 2 minutes of the first quarter, and Adamson is slowly getting their bearings.
All tied up at 7. Torres outside dish. Sahili losing it. Perez retrieving it.
What defense by Smash.
Indeed, stolen. Zipagan, last minute pass. Bucket for Smash Basketball.
Garcia protecting the ball very well.
Torres hands it off. Perez again to the other side. Abayon, this time it's Sahili. Anderson has 13 seconds. Perez, the spin, gets blocked.
Could have timed it better.
On the other side, pull-up jumper won't go in for smash.
Very rare solo play for them. They've got to watch it because Adamson's starting to hit their shots.
Alan Perez, not that time though.
Yeah, maybe not all the time.
But they can definitely. As Villanueva getting fouled on his way to the iron, 2 freebies will be given to him.
I think the advantage of Smash is what we call gulang. You know, they know the tricks of the trade better than the youngsters of Adamson, and that's basically the main difference in this game so far. But it's only a 2-point game.
Safe to say, Smash Basketball, even though again they're not a collegiate team, they're not a school-based team, they're gonna be a threat.
Oh yes.
As we have under a minute remaining in our opening chapter. First one was good.
What I find surprising here for Adamson is that the bigs aren't looking to score. You know, they play the high post or get it in the low post and kick it out to the shooters, but they're not trying to score themselves.
Let's see if that plan changes along the way. But so far, Rayan and Torres, it's his turn to shoot some freebies. So far, Adamson with a 3-point lead, a chance to make it double possession. As we have exactly 47 seconds remaining in this first period. At the line, Rayan and Torres, the 23-year-old shooting guard out of UPIS. First one is good. He'll go 2 out of 2.
Now you see the polish of Adamson's system starting to come out.
This time smash. Looking to create some offense. It's still with them. They choose to attack. They send it outside. They try from deep. That won't fall. Foul will be called on Axel Manzon, so it'll stay with smash.
Yes, Manzon doing a very poor job there of boxing out. He was in the no-charge zone, and then he yanked on the jersey.
Timeout right here as we have a 10-9 score. We'll be back for more. Back to the action here. Still a 1-point lead in favor of Smash Basketball. Let's see if they can end the quarter retaining that lead as Demisana gets doubled. Manzon dancing to the wrong song.
And out of step. We call that contratiempo.
Smash Basketball right here. They have 5 seconds to work with. They have a 1-point lead. The shot, no good. And that'll do it for our first period. It's 10-9. Smash Basketball retaining that 1-point lead as we have a low-scoring chapter. Nevertheless, we still have 3 more. So better hold on to your seats, grab your popcorn, because for sure we are in for a treat. We'll be back for more action.
Things are getting heated up here in the NDSL, especially with Smash Basketball, being a club-based team comprising of players in the Kamanava area. They are well-versed in Ligang Labas, and the team share that this is exactly what they will show and bring to the court. Spending 2 years together, they've grown as a team and has built chemistry over the years that has shown on the court, but the learning surely does not stop. They will take this opportunity to gain new experiences and learnings with excitement and pressure on the side. Join Bill.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for that beautiful report. And indeed, both of our teams having contrasting backgrounds. What did you say, Bill?
Yes, absolutely. And in this Adamson squad is actually a developmental team. But what I like about the spirit of Smash is that they're really just trying to get better.
Indeed, again, the exact words Daniel used, Ligang Labas. Their experience from those said leagues will be used in the NDSL.
And you can see the street smarts versus technical development.
And let's see who shall prevail in today's game. As De Jesus grabs it outside to Torres. Cañete on the right side. Jonah back in the game. Looking to hand it off. He does. Abayon. No good on the long shot. De Jesus did not shoot it. Try to set it inside. Ball will stay with them.
A lot of risky passing by Adamson inside the paint. And they're very adventurous. Maybe some passes. If you were these are the things that drive the coaches crazy.
Indeed, he could have shooten that shot. So Ronzone will bring out the basketball. De Jesus trying to get free, but Jonah gets it anyway. Cade to Abayon. De Jesus
posting up, but they're not giving him the ball.
And the problem remains, again, they're not really finding their big men to shoot.
Exactly. And look at the Smash. They know they have a really deep bench, so they're using it to the max here.
And that's actually good for Smash Basketball. But let's see what Adamson has in mind for this possession. As Ronzone, nowhere to go. Abayon to the left side, Cañete for 3. Off to the back iron. Ronzone losing it. Pesky defense coming from Smash Basketball. Sidestep, hands it off. Bragais, high shot. Not that time. Jonah greatly bothering him. Ronzone to Abayon. Cañete has it. In the middle, De Jesus.
Everybody touching the basketball on the part of Adamson.
And you can see again the evidence of organized basketball in the way they play.
But you know, these two teams are like totally different. You have Smash, they're more familiar with each other. And Adamson is really finding their character as a team.
So again, very contrasting backgrounds. And let's see how they will use those rather to their advantages. As Smash Basketball with this possession, pull-up jumper, no good.
I think they were too much in a hurry that time.
Adamson with the possession. Cañete, great drive, contesting Bragais, and he's successful.
And to go past 2 defenders to make that basket, and now Adamson is in the lead.
A 1-point lead to be exact. The attack right here. Tibang, tough shot, won't go in. They try to get it back, and they won't. Cañete in transition. Outside the run zone. He won't shoot the 3, they will settle for a reset. At that time, miscommunication on their point.
He was passing the ball out and the receiver was cutting to the basket.
So Smash Basketball a chance to take the lead. They ended that first quarter with the lead.
They are getting a lot of opportunities through sheer effort.
That's what you love to see.
Yes.
Again, when you're a club team going up against these kinds of teams, you have the tendency, you know, to be recognized as the underdog.
And you have to outsmart them. Uh-oh.
Jonah looking for the rim, but he won't get it. Nevertheless, 2 freebies coming up for the big guy.
You can see that he's, you know, really not that skilled yet as a player. Had trouble with the crossover, tried to force the issue a little bit, but he'll get there.
Talking about Precious Jonah, he is 19 years old, so that is very understandable.
I should be playing in the lower division than in the younger division.
Exactly.
But why under 25? Because in most collegiate leagues, 25 is the age limit to be allowed to play for eligibility. If you turn 25 during the season, you're still allowed to play.
Indeed, Adamson's probably preparing him for the bigger guys.
Oh, yes.
As that time, it's in and out shot for Smash Basketball. Sahili to the other side, Cañete to the corner run zone, inside to Jonah.
That was a great feed.
The bang in the bucket for Precious Jonah, chance to make it a 3-point play.
I think they're not counting the basket because he was fouled downstairs and then he still pivoted. But, you know, that's what we were talking about earlier. You got to keep the big men happy or else they won't work.
So that's actually a lucky break for Smash Basketball.
Yes. Good point.
Run zone using that Jonah pick. Cade, nowhere to go. Finds Jonah inside. Risky pass for the Adamson.
Tentative pass. That's not a good sign.
Let's see how Smash Basketball will take advantage of that turnover. Flores drops it. The fadeaway won't fall. This time it's run zone to Cañete.
Stepped on the sideline. The priority of Adamson seems to be looking for the three-point shot first.
I mean, it is quite obvious they have the size advantage.
Yes, exactly.
Perhaps a part of Coach Will Magbuhos' plan. Adamson with a 1-point lead still. Shot clock at 9 for Smash.
Much better spacing now on defense for Adamson.
3-point shot is not falling for Smash Basketball, safe to say. Run zone. The spin. Jonah inside. Tough shot. Draws another foul, but this time it'll lead to 2 freebies. Precious Jonah standing at 6'8". Again, only 19 years old. Sky's the limit.
Very hard to find somebody that size at that age.
First freebie won't go for Jonah. Certainly Adamson will hold on to this guy as hard as they can.
You know, every couple of minutes, Coach Buleche is putting in somebody new for Smash, and it's keeping the team fresh.
And that's what you call strength in numbers.
Oh, yes.
Flores looks to be their primary ball handler up against a much bigger Jonah. Drops it. Great find to Agustin.
Beautiful pass through the tall timber.
It's all about timing as it's a tied game. Adamson a chance to reclaim the lead. Sahili at the right wing to Perez. They try a 3. That's way off for Allen Perez. Luckily, Realin Torres gets it back. Outside to Cañete for a 3.
But you know, he had Jonah right there. Another very risky pass.
Smash Basketball. This time with a possession. But they look to slow things down. Agustin provides the pick for Flores. Flores attacks Cañete. The bump. Scoops it up. Scoops it in.
That's what they're talking about. Street smarts.
That's Smash Basketball for you. Adamson, Soaring Falcons calling a timeout. And let's see it one more time. Rafael Flores finding a gap in that tight soaring Falcons defense. But first, that assist, beautiful assist coming from him. And again, that beautiful inside attack. We'll back for more.
There's a whole lot of learning and development for the Adamson Falcons. With this team having a mix of Team A and Team B players, they've also started to incorporate their recently graduated juniors into the college team. They will use this platform to develop their maturity, team chemistry, and to learn how to adapt to the system better. Aside from their players, Coach Will Magbuhos is also on his path of growing, as this is his first tournament with the Falcons as the head coach. Join Bill.
Thank you very much.
And that is safe to say a really new team. I mean, the program's old, but the team, you have a rookie head coach and you have literal rookies in the team.
Yes, imagine playing in a competitive tournament at that age, 18, 19 years old. That's very valuable to your development.
Let's see what Adamson will do in this possession. Not that time, though.
Well, you can see for the Adamson players, they just need a little more polish, a little more experience.
Flores inside, greatly defended by Torres. Sahili forward pass, Perez to the corner. Cañete won't settle for a three. Try to find someone instead inside, but that won't work. Flores asking for another pick. Gonzalez provides it. Double screen for him. Perez to Agustin up top. Almost losing it. He recovers though. Inside. Foul called on Manzon.
Well, he was moving in the no-charge zone, so if you initiate contact, it's sure to be a defensive foul.
That's one of many things Smash Basketball has been doing, keeping or rather attacking the paint.
5 fouls already on Adamson, so they'll be giving away free throws for the next 2 minutes plus.
First one is no good for Gonzalez. And he'll go 0 out of 2. If they want to win this game, they better make their freebies. Torres. Abayon. This time it's Sahili. 15 to shoot. Abayon again to Torres.
Nowhere near setting up a good shot.
That's going to be an illegal pick called on Axel Manzon.
A dangerous foul. If you stick out your foot, you could injure the defensive player trying to go around the screen.
Sharp eyes coming from our officials, seeing that very small detail. Very small and fast detail. As Smash is leading by 2. Outside, it's Gonzalez. This time he turns the ball over back to Adamson.
Yeah, sharp eyes by the officials. Lifted his pivot foot before the ball hit the floor. Very low scoring first half, Cholo.
Safe to say, defense has been one key contributor for Smash Basketball. And we shall see if they can continue to do that. As Torres will attack.
There's a pick and roll.
Jonah tried to slam it home, but I'm sure Smash Basketball will rather have free throws.
Yes. You have to prove yourself from the free throw line.
So far, Precious Jonah hasn't made a free throw in this game. Until that.
So they're going to keep doing the hack-a-shack. Hack-a-Jonah.
And see that pass one more time. That was a great find coming from Torres.
And some coaches will actually instruct the players that if this guy gets the ball, foul him instead of letting him have the basket.
That time they got 1 point instead of 2. However,
Alonte was spinning the wrong way for that shot. He was not turning into the shot.
Jonah to hook.
He really wants to score.
So far, not the most efficient game for him.
No.
As Flores, changing gears, puts one up. That's short from Flores.
You know, each team is only getting one shot at the basket. There should have been a foul there somewhere.
You gotta love the hustle and the grit coming from Smash Basketball.
Yes. One of the rare plays where they didn't move the ball around.
Indeed, Zoilo on that pull-up three-point jumper. Nevertheless, they have a 1-point lead. Adamson can reclaim that lead. As Jonah is outside, shot clock at 10. Torres attacking. Torres, another drop off. Demisana getting fouled.
Now Adamson has really changed his strategy. Now they're going inside using their size advantage, and they're picking up fouls along the way.
So timeout will be called by Coach Will Magbuhos before those Kobe Demisana free throws, as we have 39 seconds remaining in our first half. We'll be back for more. We go back to the action for the last 39 seconds in our first half. Smash Basketball only up by 1 point, a very low scoring first half.
And it's also worth noting that the coaches are not calling a lot of timeouts, and they're letting the players play because, you know, it's more important for them to learn some things on their own than for the coach to just try to drill it into them.
And you gotta love that kind of mentality coming from our coaches. As Kobe Demisana will miss that first free throw.
Well, you can tell whose parents' favorite basketball player is.
Kobe Demisana standing at 6'8", only 20 years old.
Wow. Still has one more growth spurt left in him.
This time it's Smash Basketball. The David, in this David versus Goliath matchup. Vega unable to sink that shot in front of Precious Jonah.
Jonah posting up a little too early.
Torres outside. Adamson looking to take their time.
It's a huge mismatch in the low post. They're going for the last shot.
Torres, the cross, outside. Demisana, that's way off.
Shot clock expired with 2.7 seconds left. Let's see if Smash can do anything with that.
And they do have the speed factor. Let's see if they can use it. Zoilo, is he aware of the time? He is. And that'll be it for our first half. A deadlock at 14. This match proving to be a treat for our fans. As so far, again, it has been a low-scoring game. Let's see if that'll be changing for the next quarters. And again, this is the National Developmental Sports League Basketball Series. We'll be back for more action. We go back to the action here in the National Developmental Sports League Basketball Series. Again, this is a match between the Adamson Soaring Falcons and the Smash Basketball Club in the 25 and under division. So far, we are tied up at 14. And this is the second half of the game. Again, Adamson having that height advantage, but not necessarily using it.
Absolutely, they have not really been going inside predominantly, choosing ball movement and outside shooting as their primary option.
And again, we have yet to confirm if that is indeed part of their game plan, as we see Cadron Zone hitting that shot.
Finally, that might relieve some of the pressure that Smash is putting on them on defense.
3-point lead now for Adamson after that shot, as Pimentel gets caught dancing to the wrong song.
That is the second traveling violation on Smash. That's where you see the contrast, you know, because this is a club team, you know, those things, you let those things go sometimes when you're playing each other, but in collegiate basketball like Adamson plays, you don't allow that.
Indeed. You know, officiating first and foremost is very different.
Yes.
Adamson right now, they are up by 3, a chance to make it a double possession lead. Oh my goodness! He had bad plans. Good thing that that did not go in, as Flores inside gives it to his teammate, and Gonzalez converts.
1-point game now. You can tell that Jonah really wants the ball, but then he's a young guy, still has a lot to learn.
Good sign nevertheless. You can see that aggression from the young gun. This time a corner 3 by Abayon. In and out on the shot.
Good boxing out by Smash.
And it's only a 1-point game. Flores, they're down by 1. Flores will attack. Outside dish. Gonzalez in front of Jonah. Off to the right.
That's funny because that's what Adamson has been trying to do. Drive and kick.
So both teams not really getting on a groove offensively. As Abayon will send it to Jonah. Ronzone asking for it. He gets it. Uses the pick. Outside again. Great ball movement. Cañete, mid-range jumper. That's money for him.
You know, that's the lost art in modern day basketball, the mid-range jumper, because you either attack the basket or go for a 3. There's no middle game anymore.
Exactly. Great to see Adamson capitalizing on those chances. As Flores almost losing it. Keeps it alive. The pick from Villanueva. Inside of Gonzalez. The bump against Perez. He gets blocked.
I think he was more intent on getting the foul than making the basket. There are only 5 seconds left on the shot clock. And you know, you look at the bench of Smash, there's no place for anybody to sit down even. So if you come into the game, the guy you replace sits where you were sitting.
Exactly. The coach Richmond can't even sit down. They'll miss that one, but they draw a foul. So 2 freebies coming in for them.
Yes, you know, Perez made the mistake of putting his arms down instead of just standing his ground.
Almost 3 minutes passing by in Chapter 3. And Tibang will be shooting freebies. And talking about the roster of Smash Basketball, most of them are aged 23 years old and above. So that may say something about the kind of basketball they are playing.
Well, overall, they would be more mature than some of the other players of Adamson.
First one is no go for Tibang. Second one on its way for Vincent Tibang, as they are down by 3. Cuts it to 2.
You know, it may be low scoring, but it's a very close game.
And again, both teams offensively haven't found their rhythm, but defense has been the common factor, as Demisana will miss that one.
Oh, he hasn't really found his game yet.
Vincent Tibang still with him. Up against Cañete. Sends it outside to Flores. Flores changing gears. Fades away. Bad shot coming from Rafael Flores.
He was claiming that he was hit on the arm. We didn't see it.
So far, a 2-point lead by Adamson. No team really led by a lot. As Torres will bring it down. Another member of their Team A. This time it's De Jesus from their junior squad as Jonah will attack. The bump outside again. Sahili overshooting. Flores, eyes on the prize. Another hesitation move from him. Drops it to Gonzalez for the mid-range jumper. Still not falling for smash basketball.
That's true, and that's why it's getting harder and harder for them to get second shots because all the Falcons are in the paint.
Finally, Adamson recognizing their advantage. Their height advantage to be specific. As Torres will attack. Ray Allen, no good off the window. Demisana tried to put it back in, won't work. But they'll draw foul.
If you look closely at that last play, you'll see that Jonah was on the outside, which leads me to suspect that he would prefer to play small forward than center. Because even the way he plays, you know, he tries to drive into the hole, you know, goes up for dunks. He looks built like a extremely tall, a small forward for Filipino size. No?
Great point. Perhaps not his natural position right now. But let's see if we'll see him playing the wing sometime soon. I mean, they do have Alan Perez, who stands at 6'7".
That would be a heck of a mismatch.
And we're seeing Ray Allen Torres at the line. First one is good for Torres. So far hasn't missed from the charity stripe. Living up to his first two names, Ray Allen.
Nice one.
2 out of 2. Again, still haven't missed from the line.
Now, this is the biggest lead of the game, at least for Adamson. 21-17, no, that's not a typo.
A 2-possession lead for them.
You know, if when Smash takes shots early in their offense, they really don't get anything going. They've gone away from the ball movement they were doing in the first quarter.
Exactly. Rafael Flores manning the point guard spot really worked for them. But again, he cannot play the whole game.
You know, sometimes I think that the coaching staff of Smash has a timer that every 2 minutes or so they send somebody new into the game.
And again, that is the strength in numbers that they have. As Tebang, no good. He's been taking all those jumpers the whole game. Finally attacks and finally makes one.
Homemade screen there, and you know, Jonah is changing a lot of shots, but a rare offensive board for Smash.
Jonah, heavily guarded by Agustin. Demisana, bothered.
They know that Jonah's ball handling is not that developed yet.
And again, probably the reason why he cannot be placed at small forward. But Alan Perez enters the game, an exchange of him, as Sahili will trigger the inbound for the Soaring Falcons. Torres outside. Uses the pick to the left wing. They turn the ball over.
Very active hands on the part of Smash.
Tebang, the fake, the attack, the fadeaway. Oh, that's money for Vince Tebang.
That's what they were not doing in the first half. They were not challenging the shot blockers. They would get intimidated and change their shots.
Another steal for Smash Basketball.
Oh, they had a chance to take the lead back.
And yet again, we have a deadlock at 21. Torres to De Jesus. At the right wing, it's Sahili. He'll attack. He'll put one up. And he'll draw a foul.
He babied that shot there, but I believe the contact was after the shot, but still he was in the shooting motion, so they will give him 2 free throws.
Zahir Sahili standing at 6'2". Another member of the Adamson Baby Falcons, absorbed by their seniors team.
Well, they don't look like babies, if you ask me.
I mean, none of them are below 6 foot. Except for Ray Allen Torres.
But then again, he is the most experienced player on this squad.
Experienced, the most experienced and the oldest, apparently. Tebang. Pulls up. Way short. Gets it back. Inside Zoilo. Beautiful hustle
No
move.
recovery by Adamson there. And now Smash is back in the lead by 1 with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
And Smash Basketball getting 2 offensive rebounds the past 2 sequences. Torres. No good at the 3.
Ooh. You know, I think, Cholo, at the end of this game, it's going to be the team that is most consistent that will win.
That's going to be something time will only tell.
Good substitution here by Adamson. Ronzone is back on the floor, and he provides a lot of stability for this squad.
Meanwhile, on the other side, Rafael Flores not returning to the game yet. As Tibang, a couple of moves, fades away. Another one for Vincent Tibang.
Oh, he's warming up. Like a diesel engine, it takes time, but you will warm up.
Right now, Adamson trailing by 3. Should they be worried? Perez.
A lot of noise now from the bench of Smash. They're trying to put more pressure on Adamson.
Another advantage Smash has. The Misano offensive board. No foul call.
Yeah, should have been contact there. Fresh clock, no need to hurry.
Sahili. Ooh, trying to take flight. Couldn't make the shot. Nevertheless, 2 freebies coming up for the young guy.
You know, at that age, for you to even think about a one-handed double pump. Wow.
And we'll take another look. Again, Zahir Sahili had bad plans, just like Precious Jonah a while ago.
As Mike Tyson says, malicious intent.
But he hasn't made a free throw in this game. His last trip was also 0 out of 2.
Well, you know what they're going to be practicing tomorrow.
One of the frustrations of head coaches, one of the most frustrating things.
They say, you know, no one's guarding you. Why can't you make it? That's why it's called a free throw.
And you know what they say, free throws are a mental game.
Absolutely.
Second one to redeem himself. And to cut this lead to just 2 points. Still no good. But they will just have to suck it up. As we have under 2 minutes remaining in Chapter 3.
Well, a great learning experience for both teams. As we said, completely contrasting styles.
But in fairness of Sahili, he did get a steal during that sequence. Demisana. This time it's run zone.
They're a better team when Ronzone has the basketball.
Cañete up against a much smaller Vince Tibang. As Kenji will attack. Kenji, no good.
He was looking to pass, and he was surprised that he was open.
Exactly, a tentative move coming from Cañete. Smash Basketball looking to make Adamson pay. Tibang, kaboom!
Oh, he's smoking.
Vincent Tibang putting up shots and puts his team up by 6 points. Demisana outside. Sahili will attack right, down to Kobe.
And no confidence in his shot.
This time it's Zoilo up against a much taller Kobe Demisana.
And 1.
David slaying Goliath. And we'll take another look. Again, you gotta love the pass coming from Tibang to this cutting of Patrick Zoilo.
Tough make.
More importantly, a chance to put his team up by 9 points.
And you know, with the way this game has been going, that would be a huge, huge lead for Smash.
In all game, we've been saying, Adamson, there's no need to panic for them, but maybe the time to panic is now.
Oh, yeah. They have to be more thoughtful about their execution.
Cañete at the left wing.
I would pound the ball inside.
Again, they have the size advantage.
Yes.
You're definitely correct on that. But it looks like they'll take another 3. Abayon will miss it. Jonah outside again to Abayon. Cañete. Oh, there's a foul. Offensive foul inside.
I think it's on Jonah because he's getting frustrated. You know, it's like we said, you've got to keep the big man happy. He's getting pounded inside, you know, flashing around, not getting the ball.
So our officials will take one more look on what exactly happened.
Could be upgraded to an unsportsmanlike foul depending on whether he threw out his arm or his elbow.
And that's going to be big for Smash Basketball.
Ronzone doing the right thing is gathering the five on the floor and settling them down, and only 23 seconds left, but you're down by 8 already. Maybe you can make a basket here and change the score.
One thing's for sure, it's not yet the end of the world for the Adamson Soaring Falcons. But right now, Precious Jonah will be called for an unsportsmanlike foul. As we'll take another look on what exactly happened. Seems to be an elbow was flared out by Precious Jonah.
There you go. Away from play too.
And you gotta commend Charles Vega as well for not escalating things.
And for having a very strong jaw.
I mean, that's gotta hurt. But right now he'll be shooting freebies, 2 freebies and 1 possession for Smash to be exact.
Oh.
But he'll fumble that first one. Second one on its way. And he'll go 0 out of 2. Good thing they do have 1 more possession. But both teams not really shooting efficiently from the line.
That is true. That's a number we are trying to ignore.
Vega outside. Shot clock at 12. Zipagan deep within the corners outside to Zoilo. Looks at the clock. 4 seconds to work with. Zoilo.
5-second difference between the game clock and shot clock. Or rather 6.4.
Shot clock violation. Adamson, good defensive stop and a chance to get 1 more shot to stop the bleeding before the last quarter. Manzon will trigger the inbound. Agustin bothering him. Torres receives it. Torres drops it to Cañete. He'll lose it. Cañete tried 1 more time but lost it on his way to the iron.
Very sticky defense by Smash.
Sticky is indeed the right word. Smash Basketball has been slaying Goliath in this game. We'll take another look. This guy, Vincent Tibang, has been doing wonders for the white shirts. Putting up shots, laying in shots from inside. And let's see if he can continue.
He's been playing fearless basketball.
Indeed, we'll be back for more action. It's the final showdown, the 4th and final chapter of this game. As Smash Basketball is leading by a big 8 points.
Yeah, let's put that into context. The first half ended at 14-all. So 8 points is humongous.
It was 9 points at 1 point. As right now, Adamson will look to trim it down first.
But they still have not found a solution to the interior defense of Smash. They're just putting bodies in the right place.
And if they're waiting for the right time, this is the right time. This time it's run zone. Outside dish, Abayon for 3. That is short.
And again, great boxing out by Smash. You have to fight through the box out and beat them to the position under the basket.
And that is exactly what they've been doing as Zoilo. Oh, beautiful scoop up shot
And he was right in asking for a foul because he went under the arm of the defense. 10-point lead, partner.
And you know what they say, big things come in small packages. That has been shown by Patrick Zoilo and Vincent Tebang of Smash Basketball, but Kenji Cañete stops the bleeding.
Just add water.
And indeed, Adamson wearing a darker shade of the color of water. As Tebang, the ball is in his hands. The attack right here by Agustin up against Abayon. That's no good.
The shot blockers are sitting down for Adamson at the start of this fourth quarter, but you know they'll be back in.
Ranzone with the basketball. The pick from Manzon. Outside again to Cañete. He'll attack right, and he'll lose it.
Very predictable.
Smash swiping the rock again. Tebang looking to fade one more time, and he won't make it. The Soaring Falcons in transition. Cañete for three.
Oh, really ugly miss.
Overcooking that shot again. This time, another bucket in transition for Smash. That time it was Zipagan seeking the shot. Cañete, the bump.
You know, Adamson is starting to lose interest in this game, and not everybody's coming back down on offense or defense. And they're getting hammered.
A grenade coming from Patrick Zoilo in transition. Let's see it one more time. Again, first that bucket in transition by Sipagan, and then afterwards that pull-up three-point grenade from Patrick Zoilo. 13-point lead for Smash. We'll be back for more. Back to the action here as we have almost 3 minutes passing by in Chapter 4. Again, after that big-time long grenade coming from Patrick Zoilo, Smash Basketball is leading by 13 big points.
The question for Adamson now is, where's your offense going to come from?
And certainly no guy has been lighting up from deep in this game for Adamson, as Sahili will miss that shot from mid-range.
Well, they're slowly adding more bigs to the lineup, and that's a good thing, but is it too late?
Again, they're down by 13. A little bit of panic evident in their body language as Tebang sends it to the corner, back to him. Pull up 3 points. Won't go, he'll get it back.
Oh,
He'll put
wow.
one up and put one in.
Everybody watching the shot instead of chasing it down.
Again, David slaying Goliath. As we'll take one more look. Vincent Tebang introducing himself in good fashion here in the Ndsl.
Oh yeah, he's been a pint-sized monster for Smash.
15-point lead and a chance to make it 16 with this bonus freebie for Vincent Tebang.
So they put Jonah back in the game now, so you have the Twin Towers again for Adamson, but they have not really been effective in this game.
And luckily for Adamson, that's not a 3-point play. But still, they're down by 15.
Oh yeah, that's huge, given the nature of this game.
Demisanal asking for the basketball, stolen. Abayon trying to get it back, he won't.
Look at the hustle of Smash.
Zoilo attacking, Zoilo no good.
Could have been a foul, but the refs are going to let them play.
Run zone to Jonah. He'll attack, a basket and one, a much needed bucket in transition for the Adamson Soaring Falcons.
Great left-handed play there by Jonah. You got to get the ball to the big man in the right position, and here transition. one of the rare times they got the defense napping.
And you've been commending Cade Ronzone the whole game. He did another fantastic job in dishing it to the big guy.
Well, a while ago, end of the third quarter, he wasn't really getting much support. Everybody was out of position.
But unfortunately, Jonah will not make that freebie as Tebang has it once again in his hands. Tebang, fade away, won't fall.
Got away with a little bit of a push there.
That's Bergais getting called as they have some allowance to commit those kinds of fouls as they have a 13-point lead. And they have one more foul to give.
Uh-oh.
So some color developing between these two teams as Jonah getting called for another offensive foul. So again, not the best time for Jonah to be committing those kinds of mistakes.
Remember, he already has one unsportsmanlike foul. He gets another, he's out of this game.
Certainly. Flores back in the game. Gonzalez attacking. Out of bounds, and they'll turn the ball over to Adamson.
Good idea, wrong execution.
So another chance for Adamson to make something happen as we're in the halfway mark of our fourth period.
Oh, now they caught the initial contact. So now Jonah is going to feel a little more justified.
Gonzalez trying to get in the head of Precious Jonah. It's all mind games inside.
That's why we're going to start calling him my precious.
Indeed. Precious for the Adamson Soaring Falcons. Jonah inside.
Great pass.
And again, Cade Ronzone has been doing that all game.
Leads down to 11.
Agustin, no go. Smash Basketball starting to miss their shots. Ronzone to the cutting Abayon. Two more points
now
again.
they're attacking the basket.
It's down to a single-digit game. Adamson staying composed.
You know, given the pace that Adamson is playing, this suddenly becomes a lot of time.
Tebang. The pick from Agustin. Pull up. No good.
Now he's taking matters into his own hands a little bit too much.
It's now or never
They
for
should
the
give the ball
Adamson.
to Ronzone.
Ronzone, the pick from Kobe. Cade attacks. Cade drops it. Jonah, 2 more points for the big guy.
Keep the big man happy.
And again, that's what they've been doing for the past minutes or so. 39-32. We'll be back for more action. Despite trailing by as much as 15 points, the Adamson Soaring Falcons able to find a way to make this just a 7-point game.
Oh yeah, they're clamping down harder on defense, attacking the basket, getting close shots, great passing by Ronzone, and keeping Jonah active on offense.
And again, right off the bat, height has been their advantage. So certainly that's what they should have been doing from the start.
Couple of subs now, the more senior players of Smash on the floor.
So Smash missing the recent shots. Abayon tried to give it to Jonah.
It was a little bit too low.
Flores inside. Great find, but they couldn't execute.
Offensive foul now. Smash starting to panic, starting to worry. One, they could use more time, but you know, they seem to want to get the points back right away. You don't have to do that.
I mean, against this Adamson team, any lead is a good lead.
They just have to ride out the next couple of minutes and not give up too much.
But these are huge free throws.
Yeah, because now it's the shoe is on the other foot. It's Smash that's gotten into penalty early, unlike in the first half.
The worst time to be in that position, as Abayon will make that first one. At the line, John Ray Abayon, only 19 years old, standing at 6'3".
Amazing.
2 out of 2 for the young gun. More importantly, cuts the lead to just 5 points for Smash.
This is where you have a problem as a club team. You don't have place for these situations.
And that shall be a test for Coach Richmond and company.
Bigger burden for Flores.
Flores, not the best shot for Smash. Sahili almost losing it. Will continue to do so.
He had his head down, so he couldn't see where he was going.
Crucial turnover.
Yes.
But that'll favor Smash basketball as they'll eat some time.
Now the question is how integrated Flores is with the rest of the team.
Flores losing it. Jonah in transition. Get ready. Cadron Zone refreshes the rim. Basket and one for him. And again, Adamson looking to close the gap for the last 2 minutes of the game. We'll take another look. Precious Jonah fumbling that dunk attempt. Cadron Zone was there.
This is a very important free throw because it cuts the lead down to, they changed their mind. But now the lead is just one possession, partner.
Yeah, nevertheless, even though it's 3 points, but Adamson could have used that freebie.
Yeah, but Smash has a lot of great one-on-one players, but Adamson is now playing better team defense here in the fourth quarter.
And this shall be the ultimate test for Smash basketball. Can they close this game out? Zoilo almost losing it. Flores deep within the corners to Zoilo. He'll try from deep. Boom! Ice in his veins.
Huge bucket.
Remember the name, Patrick Zoilo of Smash basketball.
Still enough time though. Now Adamson should just keep going to what works for them, which is get the big man busy.
Run zone. Will attack. Outside again. Corner 3, Abayon. Kaboom!
Well, they're separating the men from the boys now.
And just like that, 3 points is retrieved by Adamson.
What a thriller for our first game.
Who knew where we were in for a treat? I mean, again, it was a low-scoring game.
Great introduction to the NDSL.
Outside, Flores. The pick from Garcia. Step back 3. Bingo!
Ooh! Just in time to beat the clock.
Another big-time grenade coming from Rafael Flores to put his team up by 6 points. With over a minute remaining in this game, we will take another look. First, that big 3 coming from Abayon, but the answer coming from Rafael Flores to give a cushion for Smash. We'll be back for more. A potential upset in the making. as Smash Basketball is up by 6 points with over a minute remaining in our fourth period.
They have overcome all the advantages of Adamson, the height, the youth, the system.
At that time, safe option for Precious Jonah.
Now, Adamson needs a stop and quickly. Two-possession game.
Flores navigating the court, leading the charge in offense. Abayon on him. Horns play for Smash. Zoilo attacking. Won't fall. Rebound by Sahili. Torres. Abayon. Sahili thought about the three. Run zone. Not that time. Jonah.
Well, that's an assist.
4 points in a row for Precious Jonah.
Now they need to foul. Well, they get the ball back. The question is, will they have enough time? They have to force a miss or a turnover here.
It's a one-possession game. This will be the ultimate test for Adamson. Flores almost losing it. No foul call. Torres gets a hold of it. Sahili will tie the game up at 45.
I smell something, Cholo. I smell something.
I smell it too. 11 seconds remaining. A deadlock at 45. And everybody is smelling that thing we're smelling as well. We will take another look again. Torres, smart find to Sahili. And Zahir Sahili not disappointing. And again, 11 seconds for Smash Basketball to work with. Will we go to overtime or will Smash win this one?
You brought it up.
Or perhaps will Adamson get a stop and get a go-ahead to book it? Only time will tell. Only the next 11 seconds will tell.
You had to bring it up.
I mean, it's
okay.
inevitable.
That's my sickness. But hey, who's complaining, right?
Exactly. What a way to open the basketball series of the NDSL.
Let's see it happen first.
I mean, it's a win-win situation. We're in for a game winner or we're in for more action. But this time, Flores and company will have a chance to take the W. Flores will trigger the inbound.
He'll get the ball back for sure.
Flores to Zoilo. He'll attack. No good. Last 3 seconds. Abayon, forward pass. No time left.
And no foul. I told you.
And that'll be it. Safe to say, overtime period is on its way. A deadlock at 45. What a way for our first ever match here in the basketball series of NDSL to start.
Let's hope that Jonah is not hurt.
I mean, he had a bad look against Garcia.
Limping a little bit, but you know, at that age, you just play through it.
And at the end of regulation, it's all 45. We'll be back for some overtime action. All tied up at 45. High quality, intense overtime basketball action on everybody's way. Only here in the National Developmental Sports League Basketball Series.
Now the big question, Cholo, is how is Smash going to handle blowing a big lead in the fourth quarter? Mentally, will they feel shaken or not?
Again, that is the question everybody is trying to find an answer for, as first bucket of overtime period belonging to Adamson.
And now you can see they're a little more confident. There's a little more intensity in how they're playing.
And certainly if you're Smash Basketball, you should be worried of this new version of the Adamson Soaring Falcons, as an illegal pick will be called.
Gonzalez, their moving screen. You have to establish yourself before contact comes.
So another chance for Zone and company to take 2 more points or 3 more points and make it a 2-possession lead. Jonah hands it off to Ranzone. Cade, the step back. The pull-up, no good. Jonah, too big and too strong.
Yes, he's now doing a much better job of positioning himself under the basket. And he's got his mind on the game now, not on the contact.
Exactly. I mean, it took time, but better late than never. As Flores, wild shot. Again, not the smartest attempt for Smash.
Trying to do too much and out of sync with the rest of the team.
Run zone again. Sahili to the right side, Cañete.
Ronzone knows he has a mismatch in terms of height, so he's been trying to post up.
Torres. He'll attack left. Sends it out to Sahili. Out of bounds. Last touch on Flores.
1 second left on the clock. Still enough time for a catch and shoot.
Torres. Catch and shoot to Cañete. That's off. Zoilo running the race, burning some rubber. To Vega. As Smash will reset. Tibang snatches it back, puts on the moves against Jonah. Shot clock at 11. Tibang sizing up the big guy. He'll try from deep. It won't work.
Well, like many coaches say, dribbling does not score points.
That time won't work for Smash, as Adamson another chance to spike up the lead. Torres to Jonah. This time Cañete. He'll attack right baseline. He'll lose it. That's going to be 2 freebies coming up for Kenji Cañete. Another member of the Team A of the Adamson Soaring Falcons, Kenji Cañete, 22-year-old, standing at 6'1". And he'll miss that first freebie.
Bit of a hurry there to shoot.
They have a 4-point lead, a chance to make it 5 with the second free throw. He won't. Vega hustling for the rebound.
They just have to go back to what worked for them in the first half, Sprint back on defense, gang rebound.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Jonah erasing that shot out of existence. But Torres will lose the basketball as Tibang will pull up for a 3. Bingo!
That's big, that's big.
And yet again, it's a close score, 49-48.
Now, no choice here. Adamson must score.
Last 2 minutes.
I don't believe it.
I mean, I said that a while ago.
I know.
Torres up against the smaller Tibang. He'll attack, he'll scoop it up.
Oh,
Hello.
nobody there for the rebound.
Flores almost lost it. Foul called on Sahili.
But they were not yet in the penalty in the fourth quarter. So no free throws yet.
Only a 1-point lead for Adamson. And if you've watched the past 4 quarters, you know no lead is safe.
Oh, yeah.
But luckily for Smash, they'll have 1 more chance.
We still have 5 more games, partner.
The first one being this overtime thriller. Vega trying to get free. This time it's Tibang. He'll attack.
Oh,
He'll
that's a
get
foul.
fouled.
He just got so much speed.
Indeed, I mean, speed-wise, nobody has been able to match his. A chance to give his squad the lead.
No need to hurry. The refs very rarely call a violation at the free throw line.
Nevertheless, a chance to tie the game up at 49.
I think he bends a little too deep at the knees.
And he does neither of that. As it's still a 1-point lead for Adamson. The attack, Cañete, basket, and one. Much needed basket. Kenji Cañete showing some composure.
Now everybody's starting to contribute for Adamson just in the nick of time.
We'll take another look. Kenji Cañete showing why he is part of that Team A. Basket and one, a chance to make a three-point play. More importantly, a chance to make this a two-possession lead for the Soaring Falcons.
You have to admire the spunk of these two teams. Each playing according to their personality.
However, Cañete will miss that one. And it's still more than possible for Zoilo and company.
Whoa! No need to rush. They could have done a 2-for-1.
Zoilo taking that risk. Nevertheless,
That's
Jonah.
traveling. That's traveling. He didn't do a float dribble. Oh, he traveled.
Stutter step, indeed, is a travel, according to our officials. So one more chance for Flores and company, perhaps to cut the lead to just one or tie the game up with a three. Flores to Tibang. He'll choose to attack, but he won't score.
Great challenge there. Now time is on their side, but they would have to score to avoid the possibility of another, you know.
You don't want to see it.
Oh no.
Run zone. He'll attack baseline. Send it out.
Oh, great strip job.
Zoilo. Basket and one.
Bad foul.
What is happening? Patrick Zoilo again slaying the Giants.
And somebody is hurt on the part of Adamson.
Zoilo a chance to tie this game at 51 all. But again, someone from Adamson is down. That is John Ray Abayon. Hit some big shots during regulation, but now is limping. Not the best situation for the Soaring Falcons.
Yes, and that foul puts Smash now in a position to tie the game. And the last possession for Adamson.
Another look on what exactly happened. Again, you gotta love the hustle coming from Tibang, but unfortunately, the repercussions was the injury of John Ray Abayon.
That's a very European. You know, take off early and try to get into the air before the shot blocker.
And that is his advantage, the bounce and the speed.
Okay, first of all, if there's a rebound, Adamson must make sure they get it. Then all they have to do is actually dribble out the time. But both teams are in the penalty, so you can expect that Smash will foul to at least keep the time from bleeding out.
Certainly easier said than done. Zoilo won't tie the game, but we'll get it back.
What do you know? They could go for a game winner here.
Definitely more than possible. As Flores will attack. Vega for the lead. No good. Cañete retrieves it. Vega gets it back. Inside the bound. Gives Smash the lead.
What a turnaround.
To say the least, a defensive collapse from the side of the Soaring Falcons.
Cañete saying he was pushed off. But that's what we were saying in the vernacular, gulang. What a game.
What a game indeed. You gotta commend Smash Basketball again for having that gulang to get that basketball with all their grit and hustle.
And emotional maturity. Other teams could have given up.
And who better to take the shot than the man of the hour, Vincent Tibang. Big things come in small packages. 1 point lead for Smash Basketball, 2.4 seconds. Again, it's not yet the end of the world.
Not yet. They could fish a foul, but then they'd have to make both free throws. So do you take it inside or go for an outside shot?
And that'll be up to Coach Will Magbuhos.
Now, even though Jonah has been playing well, will you trust him with the game-winning shot? He's got in his pocket pick quite a few times today.
Again, height advantage has been one key component for Adamson. Will this be the moment they finally take advantage of that one?
Now, you still have time for a couple of dribbles, but then you'd be hurrying with the shot, or do they lob it inside?
Indeed. Sahili will trigger the inbound. Ronzon trying to get free inside to Jonah for the win. Basket. No basket, apparently.
No.
As he gets called for a traveling violation.
Let's see how many steps he took. I'm sure they're going to request for a review. Still 0.3 of a second remaining, which is basically just a lob.
That's gotta hurt. If you're the Adamson Soaring Falcons, Coach Will Magbuhos making his case.
Well, he has to, or else that's the game. Let's watch this.
Our officials' final verdict is a travel.
Couldn't see his feet.
So Smash Basketball will bag this W.
Unless some major disaster happens.
Given that they will do this one right, they can and could bag this W against, again, a well-known team in the Adamson Soaring Falcons. A potential upset in the making. Let's see if they can close this one out. Oh, there's still 1.4 seconds apparently.
Okay, so you have to give time for pressing the buzzer, the referee whistle, and all of that stuff. So 1.4, still a chance for a miracle here, but you have to steal the inbound. Or you have to foul when the person receives the ball.
Right exact word. Adamson waiting for a miracle, looking for a miracle.
Both teams also in the penalty, so no excessive contact. What a game.
And what a way to open our basketball series here in the Ndsl 25 and under division.
Imagine how big a lead that Smash blew in the fourth quarter. Then they came back. It's a sign of things to come.
Here we go. Smash will have possession, but then again, expect Adamson to turn on the clamps.
They have to contest. Might want to put a big on the inbounder, at least block his vision.
.4 seconds remaining. Again, just like what Bill said, both teams in the penalty.
Yeah.
So a lot of factors potentially contributing to the result of this game.
And I don't think that Adamson, this unit, has had that much experience in these situations. There you go. They put a big man on the inbounder to bother him.
And they will choose to foul. Ray Allen Torres getting called for that one.
Now he can choose to miss the second free throw because there's not enough time for them to get the ball up the court.
It'll be Charles Vega at the line. The 24-year-old forward of Smash Basketball will have a chance to put the icing on the cupcake.
So they're checking the clock, so there's still 1.1, 1.2. So that was a very quick foul. Normally it's in increments of 0.3, which is a standard rule in professional basketball. Anything below 0.3 is considered game over already. Because at 0.3 of a second, you can still alley-oop.
So that's fortunate for Adamson, having very little window of opportunity.
Well, the window is still open.
Yeah, but again, just like what you said, a miracle is being waited to be happened. So it looks like we'll settle for 1.1. Again, 52-51, Smash Basketball. Up by 1 point. Vega, first freebie, won't go in.
The window is still open.
But again, you said they can choose to miss the second one.
That's unusual. You should make the first and miss the second.
I mean, based on his body language.
That's what he wanted to do.
Exactly.
But it went in.
It looks like we'll take a short break. 53-51 Adamson. It's still not yet over for them. We'll be back for more. Back to the action here. Adamson inside the Jonah. And that'll do it for this game.
His reflex was to dribble. 19 years old.
Indeed, unfortunately for Jonah, he was unable to put a clean shot up. And with that, an upset is completed by the Smash Basketball, defeating a well-known basketball program in the Adamson Soaring Falcons. But then again, just like what Bill said, the Adamson Soaring Falcons, this is a developmental team for them. But talking about Smash Basketball, the one who did the work, the wonders for them is no other than this guy, the pint-sized trouble, Vincent Tibang.
You're gonna have to come up with a moniker for him. And not the Ricky Martin song, please.
Again, big things come in small packages. And that is proven by no other than that guy. Again, the name is Vincent Tibang of Smash Basketball. And get ready for our next game. It'll be between the MLQU Stallions and the San Beda Red Lions. But for now, we'll be turning it over to Daniel LaGuardia for our best player of the game.
Thank you so much, Ryan Bell. Now I have here Vincent Tabang with 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 6 steals. So Vincent, galing kayo sa So para sa'yo ba, how did you deal with the challenges na binigay ng Adamson Falcons? Nakita naman natin na matindi ang depensa, mababa ang scoring buong game. So how did you deal with those?
Siguro pagiging chemistry po namin kasi halos ilang taon na rin po kami magkakasama. Tas may mga school-based din po na laban. Parang yung na apply na rin po namin sa team namin yung ganun, yung po.
So, tayo ng overtime, lahat-lahat naranasan nyo na inside the court. So para sa iba, how did you remain, composed, focused all throughout, and even made through some shots?
Yun nga po yung kaya po nag-OT dahil yun lumamang po kami ng ilan 15 points din po. Tas yun po, hindi rin nagbago man, nag-run naman po yung Adamson pero sabi po ni coach, focus lang po kami, huwag po namin isipin yung score. Defense, yun po, yung defense po yung pinapagana namin kaya po kami nakaka-score na lang din.
So of course, madami tayong supporters na nanonood sa inyo. Lalo na, you've won your first game here in the Ndsl. Meron ka bang gustong batiin or pasalamatan?
Yes po. Binabati ko po yung manager po namin, si Ate Luisa, si Kuya James, Smash Basketball po. Yun po.
Thank you so much. And congratulations on winning your first game with your team, Smash Basketball. Let's get back to you, Cho and Bill.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for introducing our best player of the game. Again, that is Vincent Tibang, leading Smash Basketball to this surprising upset, a 53-51 win. And now for our next game, it'll be between the San Beda Red Lions and the MLQU Stallions. So that's 5 more games in store for everybody, so better hold on to your seats. And again, it has been Cholo Pangilinan, the Bill Velasco covering the game, and we'll be back for more. Once again, this is the National Developmental Sports League Basketball Series.